Welcome to Fix My Ship, the place where we navigate through the storms and calm the waters of every kind of relationship, whether it's family, friendship, dating, marriage, or even workplace connections. No matter the issue, we believe every ship can be repaired with the right tools. We hope you enjoy this episode, and if you do, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss a chance to grow with us. Let's fix some ships together. Welcome to another episode of Fix My Ship, where we are unhinged, unrehearsed, and unscripted. I don't even know what we're going to call this episode. I'll figure it out and put it in the title once I get to the end. I'm really just speaking from my mind. This is really, today is my third episode technically that I'm doing as far as what you all are receiving. They're going to be in order. I'm not going to take them out of order because it's as I'm getting my downloads and as I'm getting the words. But I just want to speak to everybody that is out there struggling with relationships. I'm really talking to those who feel overwhelmed. You feel like the world has pretty much swallowed you up. And what I want you to understand is you can float. I don't know how to swim, y'all, but I promise you, I can float. Whether it's with the assistance of a floaty, for those of you who know me, I love the water. I love going to the jacuzzi, aka hot tub. Shout out to James. I love the water in that regard. And the thing that I think about when it comes to the water is you can't control it. There is no boundaries that the water has. If you have cracks, crevices, breaks in your relationships, in your life, the water will show you where those cracks are. So sometimes you don't know that there's cracks in your vessel, in your body, in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit. Sometimes you don't even know that you have a break, and you know God is the potter. We are the clay, and a lot of times we don't want to be broken. We don't want to be made. We don't want to be molded. We don't want to be shaped. We want to go to that end result, but we don't want to go through the refiner's fire. And I'm just taking this time to really just talk to those who feel like you have wanted to give up, who you feel like you don't really have anybody to lean on. And it's tough when you pour into everybody, and when it comes time for you to be replenished, for you to be restored, for you to be renewed, you have no one to pour back into you. And there's an episode, I don't know which order this one will come in, because I have done an episode with my son, as far as saying, making sure that you have balance. And when it comes time to be poured into, do you have somebody that you trust and that is worthy of pouring back into you? So for this episode, I guess I'm getting a little bit more here, where I would say is get somebody that can pour into you, somebody that you trust, somebody that you can lean on. Where is your support group? Where is your village? If you don't have a village, have you made yourself available to grow your village? Have you extended yourself to where you can grow that village? Sometimes I understand that we may overextend ourselves when it comes to friendships. And you pour so much into other people that you're disappointed when they're not reciprocating those things back. So what I want to say to you and caution you is, those that you pour into, don't necessarily expect them to pour back into you. However, there should be something given back to you. If relationships are only one-sided, or as I like to say, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to change the room. So you don't want it to always be where you're the one giving, but you have to put yourself in position and in place to be around those that have more than you. So you have to reevaluate your circle. If in your circle of friends, family, whatever group it is that you have, if in that circle you are always at the top, you need to get another circle. Every circle of friends, you should not be that dominant person on top of that food chain, on top of that pyramid, or the center of that circle. There should be some circles where you are the giver, and there are also some circles where you are the receiver. Again, I am in the process of writing my book on healthy selfishness, where I feel like you have to have that balance and understand it is a reason why the Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive. When you are receiving, you are in a subservient position. It means that you're also, I won't even necessarily say that you're lacking something, but you're still in need of something. And sometimes when people pour into you and give to you, you didn't even realize that you had a void that they filled. Do not judge a book by its cover. Don't underestimate the power of those who, quote unquote, have less than you not being able to offer you something. So what do I mean by that? This is what happens when you say, if a person is not married or never been married or divorced, they can't give me advice about relationships. That is crazy. At least they can tell you how they were unsuccessful. Or they can tell you how, hey, listen, this is what happened to me. These are signs that you can look for. There's always advice that you can take. There is always learning in the lesson in the failures of other people. So do not ever put yourself in a position where you are not ready to receive from those around you who have not experienced what you think they should have experienced to be qualified or certified to give you advice. Now you are thinking of yourself more highly than you ought to. If you're somebody who's married, you have not gone through every situation there is in your marriage. So always be open to receive. Now, godly counsel, good wisdom, of course, you decipher, you take what needs to be taken, leave on the table what needs to be left on the table. But when it comes to any of the ships that we are starting to talk about and get into our little flow of things and building our family, building our community in this Fix My Ship channel, we always want to have ourselves postured in a place to receive from those who do not look like what we think they should look like to pour into us. If they have to meet a certain standard to pour into you, your vessel, you will always be empty. Half full. You will never be full if you get to dictate who the messenger is. Receive the message. Don't be so high-minded, so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. If you're listening to this particular episode, I want you to understand that there is something inside of you that needs to be shared with others. You have a story. That's all I got to say about that, and I'm going to move on. So, what I want people to understand is, if you're saying, hey, I'm thinking about some of the relationships that I have and some of them are a little bit questionable, I want to say you may want to test the waters, especially if it's something that you feel that you're doing more than others. I also want to point out to people that if the only friends you have in your life are those who call you, that's a problem. Because I'm the friend that usually calls and checks. If I don't call, then there's no phone call. And that can become very taxing. That can become very overwhelming. That can become very disappointing. So if you're in this community and you have chosen to click on this channel and listen again to this particular video, this is for you. Step your game up. He who has friends must first show himself friendly. Now, on the surface, especially when I talk about those work relationships, I present a straight face. And I tell people, they know certain people on my job who are newcomers, I'll call them, quote unquote. I let them know, I say hi and bye, because I don't like to mingle into those affairs because it comes with a lot of extra problems. And as time goes on, they start to understand why I distance myself. But don't just jump straight into relationships. I would tell you to take a step back. If you have things that are deal breakers for you and somebody breaks the deal, then the relationship is broken. Either you tell the person this is what occurred. If this is how our friendship is going to be, then we won't be able to operate like this, and you make your boundaries, you give them that ultimatum, then that is fine. Again, at that point, if you do the ultimatum close enough, it's no loss to you. The problem is when you have become fully invested into something, fully invested into someone, and you make those ultimatums. That's where you need to have caution at. You can listen to that video. But what I want to let you know is, if you are questioning why you don't have so many friends, I want you to understand it's not you, it's them. This is not a woe is me. This is not a pity party. However, at the end of the day, am I a friendly person? Overall, yes, I am. But my circle is my circle. I need to find out who's that outer circle and who's that inner circle. There is a difference between the two. The inner circle is there for any and everything at any time of the day. At all costs, they show up. That outer circle, they're available, but when they're available, that's when they're available. So you have to understand that all of your friends, co-workers, all of those external ones outside of family, you have to put them in categories and compartmentalize who they are in your life. If not, you are going to set yourself up for so many disappointments and so many failures in life. There are friends that I've had for over 20 years and I haven't spoken to them in months. Part of that I don't like, but I've come to understand that we've grown apart. So I'm not trying to force anything. And now I also see that certain individuals are trying to come back. So I allow relationships to disconnect as well as connect, but I do not force the disconnection and I do not force the reconnection. I let them happen organically. And that's another thing that I want everybody that's listening to this to understand. Let things happen organically. You'll have less heartache, less heartbreak, all of those things. You have less disappointments if you do that. So I will tell you, don't try to force relationships. Don't try to force a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband or a wife. Again, when people show you who they are, believe them, especially if they do it twice. What else do you need? Who else do you need to guide you? What other advice do you need? Sometimes the answer is already within and you know the person isn't right for you. But you're so worried about what other people have to say and you're sitting there disappointed. Understand this. Whatever relationships that you are in at this point, you have chosen to be in. Even if it's your family. And a lot of people get that twisted where, oh, because they're your family, you have to deal with them. No, I don't. I said it. No, I don't. While I don't like it, I'm okay with it. And that's what causes you to end up being in relationships that are lopsided, unbalanced, and etc. Just because someone is in a certain status or title in your life doesn't mean that they have to hold a certain place in your life. That's why we've been connected to so many things that were not good for us. So as a family and as a community and on this journey, as we sail along, I want you to start to understand that everybody can't go on the journey. Some people will get on the ship with you in the beginning, get off with you in the middle, and end up back with you in the end. Some people will only be there in the end. You ultimately get to decide who goes along for the ride. Put people in their proper place. When you put people in their proper place, your disappointment levels should be lower. Your anxiety levels should be lower. But when it comes time for you to make those difficult, hard phone calls, have those hard conversations, you should know who it is that you can lean and depend on. Don't be so hungry and thirsty for friends that you still end up malnourished because they're not giving you enough substance to carry you through your life. Don't be so hungry that you are malnourished because you are not getting the right nutrients in your journey. You're still malnourished. You are missing things. You are anorexic. So please understand that when you go through life, you have some people that are in your life for a season, Some people that are in your life for a reason, and some people that are in your life for a lifetime. You ultimately get to decide who holds that position. And if it needs to change, if you need to readjust, do that. Don't be scared to make the adjustments when it comes to your life. You are the captain of your ship. Take that and run with it. You get to decide who goes along with you for the journey. I thank you for joining me. Until next time, peace and progress. I'll see y'all on the other side. Thanks for selling with us today on Fix My Ship, where no relationship is beyond repair. If something spoke to you, challenged you, or helped you see things differently, do us a favor. Like, comment, and subscribe so you stay anchored to truth and growth. And don't forget to share this episode with someone whose ship might be drifting. They just might need this too. Until next time, keep your heart open, keep your mind renewed, and your ship headed in the right direction. Peace and progress.